everyone. Thanks for joining us here at Tech24. I'm Anelise Borges. Coming up, payments in a blink of the eye. PayPal's check-in app is enabling UK shoppers to make payments with their mobile phone, first name, and a picture, while a Finnish company has developed its own facial recognition technology to allow you to pay using nothing but your face. In today's show, we talk beginning of the end for cash, cards, and wallets. And in Test 24, we take a look at what its makers claim is the most durable action camera in the world. Verb is able to endure shock, extreme temperatures, and underwater submersion for up to 30 minutes. But before we get to these stories, let's take a look at some of Microsoft's soon-to-retire CEO key achievements. Here's Steve Ballmer's career in numbers.
The Xbox is one of Steve Ballmer's greatest hits, with more than 115 million consoles sold in 10 years. That success was offset by the flop of the Zune, demolished by the iPod, and by the failure of Windows Vista, quickly replaced by Windows 7. Finally, Microsoft hasn't made much of an impact on the smartphone market compared to Google's Android system and the iPhone. Over the 13 years of the Ballmer era, Microsoft's share price fell 36%, though its turnover tripled.
Moving on now. British consumers can now leave their wallets at home and pay using nothing more than their mobile phones and faces, thanks to PayPal's check-in app. For now, the option is limited to a handful of retailers in Richmond, but PayPal promises we will soon be able to use the app pretty much anywhere.
We're used to paying with credit cards, cell phones, and even electronic bracelets. But few have tried the newest transaction system, paying with your face. Thanks to this new application, you can now notify a store that you're here and that you plan on paying with PayPal. Your picture will then automatically appear on the clerk's cell phone. After verifying your identity, he can then go ahead and complete the transaction.
We've had the PayPal technology implemented in our store for several months now, and we find it really easy to use. It's convenient for both us and the customer.
Uniqul, a Finnish company, has gone even further in the process. In just 5 seconds, with a simple look into the camera, the payment is completed. The system recognizes the buyer's face and pulls up his information. All that's left to do is validate the transaction. A simple step, but the catch is that the company has to store your credit card information.
Some people are reluctant to give out their personal information. We don't know yet if people will accept being photographed and have their picture filed into a store's system. And once the data is on the internet, we won't have any control over what companies do with it.
This new technology is still being tested, but critics rest assured, a face is as unique as fingerprints.
And I'm now pleased to be joined from Helsinki by Uniqul CEO Oskar Tuutti. Oskar, thank you so much for joining us. I would like to start by asking you, how exactly does your system work? How is it different from PayPal's app, for example?
Uniqul is actually the world's first face recognition payment system, and we enable payments by just using your face and no auxiliary materials at all. That means no phones, no cards, nothing like that is necessary when using our system. And we can achieve that by the users first registering with us on our queue points, where their picture is being taken automatically, whereas they're entering basic info, phone numbers and addresses and stuff like that. And they also give us their preferred method of payment. And right now, through PayPal, we can accept pretty much all major debit cards, credit cards, and actually also bank accounts. And as soon as you're a registered Uniqul user, payment becomes as easy as clicking OK on our tablets, and that's the future.
And how about privacy and fraud issues? How are you reassuring the skeptics?
Well, security has to be the building point when we start talking about payment systems, and we have been working on the security side pretty much from the first get-go, and we are building the system to be more secure than current payment solutions out there. So therefore, we also expect fraud to actually be minuscule to where it is right now. We don't expect pretty much. Well, someone can. I'll put it to other words. Someone can steal your card, but no one can steal our face. And well, we'll see how the system works in live environments, but right now we don't see any problems security side. And when it comes to privacy, obviously we can't use info on people who have not registered with us. So all non-users are not identified by any means. And if a user actually doesn't want to keep using Uniqul anymore, we are ready to, or we are going to delete all info we have on those persons who don't want to be a part of Uniqul anymore.
You mentioned that this is the future. When, in your opinion, are we going to be able to leave our wallets at home?
Like I said, right now it looks, we are doing internal testing right now, and it looks like we are able to launch the system in 4 or 5 weeks' time. And we'll start the system here in Helsinki, of course, and after 4 or 5 or 6 weeks testing here in Helsinki, we will start rolling out the system globally. So therefore, we expect that you might even be able to use Uniqul for your Christmas shopping later in this year.
All right, thank you very much for that, Oscar Tuutti, joining us from Helsinki. And we're going to have to move on now. It's time for Test 24. Verb is an action camera that can capture high-definition video for up to 3 hours on a single charge. It's waterproof, resistant to shock, and costs $299 US. Marc, when we think action camera, the first brand that comes to mind is GoPro. How unique is Verb, and is it different enough for it to stand out?
Well, to be honest, Anelise, I think that the Garmin Verb does have a place in the market. It has all of the bells and whistles that you'd expect from an action camera. It's waterproof. We heard about the 3-hour battery life, which is actually half an hour more than the other cameras within the market. So that's a good thing. On top of that, we get a lot of, the image stabilizer, which is very important for all you extreme sports aficionados. Wi-Fi, GPS, and one of the main things of the Verb Elite is the GPS, and if you put it on, it's very simple to put on. There we go. You look great with one of these. But what's great, and this is
yes, you do.
one of the unique selling, the USPs, is the fact that it's got a ski mode, so it can tell the altitude and it can tell how quickly you're going. So you can be swooping down the slopes, get to the bottom, it pauses the camera, and then goes back to the top and starts the camera again when you start going again. And the thing that I love, it takes still photographs whilst recording, so you can get high-definition photographs on the go. Oh,
that's great. That's a very good feature. How did you rate it?
Right, in terms of the scores, design 5 out of 10. The camera is not very clear. The actual camera is clear, but visually on the machine isn't so clear. So we drop that down to 5 out of 10. Very easy to use. Pretty much hit one button and you're ready to go. Value for money, I think within the marketplace, a solid price. As you said, $299 US, so roughly 230 euros. It'll be out in mid-September.
Lovely. Thanks for that, Marc, and thank you for watching this edition of Tech 24. Don't forget, you can get in touch via Facebook or Twitter. And we leave you today with images of the amazing shrinking car developed by a team at the Korean Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. The Armadillo T is not exactly a Ferrari. It has a top speed of just under 40 miles per hour and battery good for a claimed 62-mile range. But it is great for driving around in a dense city. Its real plus is the fact that you can park anywhere. The car shrinks to 65 inches by folding its tail over its top. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.